It's funny because it's climb your mountain. But the final phase, after you prepare, after you've ascended to accomplish that dream and make sure that it accomplishes all that it's meant to do, is actually a descent. And yes, it's exactly what it sounds like. Like here you are on top of the mountain and you got to go down. And I know that's scary. I know you're like, Dr. Justin, hold on. I was with you. I'll prepare. I'll climb. I'll endure all the change and the flexibility and the betrayal that will occur if it means I get to celebrate at the summit and be a winner. Why we got to go down? Well, the number one reason is this wonderful word right here. Transition. You can't stay at the top of the mountain because it's not the only thing you're meant to do. It's just not. Yes, you got a dream right now, but that dream that you had was based on where you were and the experiences that you have. And I guarantee as you're growing, as you're changing, as you're becoming flexible in your mentality and your approach and your way of doing things, and as you're summiting that mountain, you're going to be doing it with a team of people who have also grown and expanded and have perspective, and you're going to begin to see that there are other mountains out there to climb. There are other mountains that are your mountain that is left to climb. That is the mountain, that first mountain that you climbed, that looks so big when you first started. There's an even bigger mountain. And there's a bigger mountain. And there's a bigger mountain. And so for you, the time isn't now to stay forever at the top of that mountain, but actually to transition to the next mountain, and to the next mountain, and to the next mountain, and the next goal that you have in life that you want to accomplish, because you're not afraid. Because once upon a time, it was just you, whoever you are, and now you're a hashtag mountain climber. You're a goal achiever. You're a successful person who wins every single day. And that's a legacy, and that's a mentality, and that's a way to carry yourself that looks a little different, and sounds a little different, and smells a little different, and leaves behind a legacy. But how do we get to that legacy? Well, we got to transition. We got to prepare those who are coming behind us to take over. And so, while I'm on my climb, who's stuck with you during your climb? Who have become the trusted inner circle who can carry on what you're doing? Who can say, hey, we're not going to limit ourselves just to climbing this mountain. Or who you can say to, hey, you have the skills to carry this to the next level. I've taken the floor and raised it. But now, it's time for me to step aside and let that raised floor become where you start. Because I started down here, but you get to start right here. That's what we're talking about when we say transition. We want to identify the people around me who can take what I'm doing to the next level. So in order for me to do that, I've got to go down. I've got to let go. Here's the next thing, transition. I got to let go. You started the dream, but since it's not the only dream, you can't now be juggling multiple dreams. You can't now be juggling multiple goals. Now, understand something. You can climb multiple mountains. That is always something that's going on. Guess what? You're getting older. You're climbing that mountain. Guess what? You got a physical body that requires work. You're climbing that mountain. Guess what? You've got a education that's always an ongoing and learning process. So your brain's always climbing that mountain. Sure. But then there are things that specifically you own. You have a business. You have a dream. You have a book. You have a portrait. You have a studio. You have something that's yours. And yes, you got it. And you've achieved it. And now you got to pass it on. You got to let it go. You got to let it go. Because you got another mountain, and you can't do both. So transitioning is also the process of letting go. Letting go doesn't mean you never touch it again. Letting go doesn't mean if the phone rings, you don't offer some advice and perspective. But letting go means also at the same time I'm not hovering. And sometimes letting go means I gotta walk away completely and let that thing thrive on its own. Even if I don't agree with the direction it takes, I gotta be willing to let it go. Why? I've got other mountains to climb. Now, here's the thing to remember. We're not climbing our mountain just because. Climbing our mountain because it's a dream, it's a vision, it's a goal, it's something inside of us. And when we do that, when we're living our purpose, I say climb your mountain, you should hear living my purpose. When you're climbing your mountain, when you're living your purpose, something about you glows. There's a light that shines on the outside. There's something about you that transitions you from the way you've always been into who you have the possibility and the potential to be in the future. And all I want you to remember is that as long as you're doing this for something other than just yourself, because you can see that person in your eye whose life is going to be changed. You can imagine clearly the way the world's better because you got out there and said, I'm going to risk growing, changing, being hurt, all to see the world be a better place. As long as that's the way in which you carry yourself and that's the way in which you do what you do, that glow that you're shining, oh my goodness, it's going to keep you going up. Because people are going to be like, what's that? Who that? Oh my goodness. And they're going to be attracted to that glow. And they're going to come after what you're doing. They're going to want to be a part of it. I'm telling you, climb your mountain, but shine your light and save a life. If you want to know the rest of that, come back for classes 2 and 3. Keep climbing.